Hey, Crazy Sarge. Good evening. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. It all does start with a gentle sadness. I am your host, Eight Wind is Timeless. I am the holder of the continuous ball game that was created by the Hero Twins. I am the Galactic Daddy-O sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. Um, Me and brother Rocky, we was on PNFs and they was fucking gang stalking PNF. And so it was like showing 90 motherfuckers supposed to be watching, and all of a sudden he just gets hit with a barrage of some bullshit. From like, it appeared like 50 in numbers watching, but we were seeing the same repeating pattern. So we know that's organized. That's not just a group of dudes. That shit's organized. So um so hey Rocky, what do you think, Rocky? Yeah, that's what yeah, he was gang stalked. It's a machine behind that. That was a machine doing that. That wasn't no one person. Yeah. PNFs, yeah. That wasn't no one person. Hey, PJ, hey, strong discernment. Yeah, that was a group of people doing that. Hey, Jesse Lynn. Ah, so kind of you. Timelessness to you as well, and wellness and joy and abundance always. But yeah, Rocky, that was a group of people doing that to him. That wasn't. I mean, that was like a computer like thing, and it's interesting that. And I was watching back and forth. Was kind of falling asleep. Really, I wouldn't have came on tonight if they wouldn't have messed with him. So, hey Jay, thank you for joining. I'm that's kind of what it seems. The technology seemed like it was a little more than normal just game stalking. That was quite interesting to show the 50 views, but only the same. If you really looked at the names, it was only about 10, 15 names. So how is it 50 people supposedly watching, but you're seeing the same group of names? So maybe the original Moors haters was behind it. That's a possibility. I think it was a little more sophisticated than some of them would be up to, but that could be. That could be. We can't count that out either. The hate. So that's kind of why that's why I was a little late because I was helping him. I was seeing like they was trying to, and that's a trick that I had noticed before, where people actually try to overrun the moderators, where so many people come and they think it's too many for the moderators. That's what they anticipated. But a lot of times, like maybe I said hi earlier or what's up earlier or all power to the people maybe earlier, and I was just listening. And then I saw that. I was like, well, this is some bullshit because I was getting ready. I was in my bedroom. And I was like, I was about to crash, really. And I was like, yeah, we got to speak on this. That ain't cool. Yeah, that ain't cool to do to brother like that. But so looking at it, looks like they kind of stopped because the numbers went way down. Wow, now they want The numbers are way down, so it seems like, yeah, seems like they quit messing with him. So yeah, so he'll be able to do his work. But I imagine that is, it's got to be kind of frustrating. All of a sudden, those kind of organized attacks. That's not just, and again, that's sophisticated. That's the thing you have to look at. It's sophisticated. Hey, Soap. But we was able to help him out. YouTube hides the videos that was taken down. Now people can't see they was taken down. The purge is real. I mean, like I was going through my talk shoe and they got me for about 4 weeks. Like all my sports stuff, I never backed that up. But because that ended up coming on again sooner or later. Some of the little moments like Reggie Miller throwing all the hand signs, that should have probably never be seen again. But other stuff, it always comes back. And so you can tape it again. But it was like Cehova's show was saying yesterday. Like a lot of these people that they make rich. They YouTube decides who to make rich. Because a lot of silly shit, they want you to think everybody loves it. Like Gangnam Style was some silly shit. But it had a little entertainment purpose. Some of this shit ain't even entertaining. And yet these people making all this money. Don't here we go. This is the most sinister shit I saw that they was doing to children. Don't you know they started doing like these family things? Like there's this one family that's a Mormon family out in Utah, of course. And don't you know they started doing kidnapping like and little evil doll videos? I was like listening to that shit and seeing my daughter watch that shit. I'm like, hell no. Why would you do that to children? To think that somebody can be breaking in your house while you in there and texting you and shit. This was children's shows. And they still on there. I ain't never heard them being excused or anybody complaining about that shit. The Annabelle doll. They would act like the Annabelle doll or like they being really seriously stalked by some people. And they're doing this for children programming. So, and you ain't fucking with them. So, we know. That's right. That's right. Hey, Tech, for your need, thank you for joining. Also, the tram. That is definitely a big thing. I was listening to the news. They said that, check this shit out. They said in D.C. that during their trans parade or trans day or trans festival, they don't want any of the DC cops. They're going to do their own policing, I guess. So it's like they ain't welcome. Everybody else welcome, but them. They're trying to put. Oh yeah, Soap. Yeah. Oh yeah, I do that too because I was listening to one day and I'm like, hell no. And it's like even one thing I even caught is just saying shit. Like I noticed my daughter would get mad at her mother and say shit she done heard on YouTube. And I'm like, where you heard that? Where did you hear that before? Did you hear that on one of them programs? Yes. I'm like, yeah, okay. Then you're not gonna watch that stuff for a minute. Or watch a new program. But like that was creepy with the, I mean, why would you put children through that? Like it's somebody in your house and they texting you and you can't find them. You looking everywhere. Why would you put children through that? So yeah, be aware of that. Hey, Marcus the Great, what's happening? 30, 15, and almost 10. Yep, 30, 15, and 10. 30, then 15 more years, then 15 more years. No, they're actually 5 years, the youngest. But the youngest one is almost 10. But that was the shit I was catching her watching. I'm like, hell no, you can't watch that shit. So I made her race that family. Like, and it's under the guise of children programming. It's under the guise of children programming. Hey, Niece, thank you for joining me. Well, if it wasn't enough, they was bothering the brother tonight. I'm highly irritated and a little embarrassed because the Wild were eliminated tonight, 5-2. One of the goals was the empty net, but yeah. So that's the end of the hockey for me, but I still like hockey. But I was sad to see because this was a pretty decent Wings team. There was some good punches tonight. Hey, Woke. I do want to get I'll get into that in a second. Parents wonder why things happen when watching YouTube. It's up to the parents instead of blaming the YouTuber. Both are at fault. No excuses. Yeah, well, exactly, exactly. You have to watch the content. You have to see the content. Sometimes I keep it on. I let her put it on the TV so I can see the content. And if it wasn't for me watching it on the TV, I wouldn't know. So I know the people she looks. I look through the history, and when she's watching it, I'll pop in to see because there are certain families you can't watch them. Yep, yep, you can't watch them. Mavericks. But I called it tonight. I called that probably two home wins, and so we saw the two home wins of Boston. I had a good feeling about Boston. I know I was kind of back and forth, but I was just kind of looking. I had a pretty good feeling of Boston winning, but I called it two wins, one loss at home. So we kind of see that they kind of keep that same um, um, the, the, theme going. They somewhat keep the same theme going, and I noticed that with this. Hey, Vernetta, thank you for joining. No one plays defense on Luca. I hate how easy he scores. Yeah, it's and you could see his frustration. Like this year, he wasn't getting the calls a lot, and you saw his frustration with the text because for 2 seasons they was giving him all the calls. This year they must have told him to back up and let's see how he acts, and he was tripping this year. He almost got put out. But yeah, he's I mean, he knows he has to know that things are scripted for him sometimes to a certain point. And that's why I thought it was interesting they had Dirk on there. And they scripted it for Dirk. And let's give Dirk, Dirk did create a shot that a lot of people use. And I did talk about Dirk's improvement from being a 7-footer that never rebounded, that by the end of his career, or not really the end, but really the peak where he was playing, get down, get down, get down, get down, get down, get down. So I don't think, hey, Ryan, what's happening? Clippers showed out. I don't know. Tatum with the 50 piece, maybe something. I noticed that too. Tatum put it on him. But you notice they didn't let him break the record. He did not break the record tonight. John Havlicek had the record of 54. And I think I watched that game. I want to say that was a game against the Suns. Could be wrong. Hey, Unique. Thank you, Anise. That is kind of you. So if y'all see my numbers go up to the 70s all of a sudden, we probably figure it's the same kind of thing. But it's easier to block people on this because I think he was on regular YouTube. But this, you can really block the shit out of people. So that's the good thing about StreamYard. It's a little easier to block and easier to put them out of it. So, hey, Edward Bailey, thank you for joining me. That's very kind. How's the weather? The weather was nice today. I mean, cool last night. It got cold last night, but today was in the 70s. It was in the 70s today. It's supposed to be nice all weekend. So I need a super chat in here. Well, I don't think you can put it in here on StreamYard. Yeah, I just got to talk or the Cash App. This is the best playoffs I've seen in a long time. Oh, okay, Ryan. I don't know. It's like Leonard really struggles, and even again, Leonard boom, and pushed the dude off him, no call. They was calling that call all night. Leonard's going to the hoop, boom, makes the contact, no call. So it's kind of a little inconsistency calls. So it was interesting. And I watched. I'll say Atlanta jumped on their ass though. Atlanta never. Atlanta was like a wolf on a piece of meat. It never took a breath. It just kept eating. They want Tatum to be the man. They've been hyping him up lately. This second or third 50-point game. I agree, Valerie. They probably are. What did Woke say? Woke said something I wanted to answer. Whoops. What did you say? I missed it. Woke said something. Yeah, I guess I missed. Oh, here. Who do I have winning? I still think they're going to push. They're going to probably. I think they're going to push Dallas this year. I really do. That's what it's looking like. They're going to push Dallas through, but so we'll see. God, they turned off. They did more than turn off the magnets for him. He he caught a rebound in the first half, and all he had to do was go up and shoot it high. He didn't even try to shoot it high. He just got it blocked really easy. And I'm like, man, you got these dudes that can jump. There's spots on the backboards dudes can't get. And if you shoot it high enough, I mean, I would just sit under the basket and practice that all kind of high angles. And yeah, you telling me you 6'8" and you can't do that? You can't shoot it over higher dudes. So shot selection was, I don't know. Oh, it was 86 degrees yesterday. Golly. Whoa. It was 83 here. It was 80 something Monday, and it was Tuesday. It was 86. It was 86 here Tuesday, and then it was like yesterday. Yesterday was Cash App's not available. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. That's the only thing I really carry is that. Yeah, right. But yeah, I kind of saw. Well, yeah, two home wins and one home loss. That's kind of what I saw. There's two home wins and one home loss. And I may have got the teams wrong, but I saw that rhythm right there. It's 57 now. What is it here? What is it here? I don't miss this. Whoops. Okay, time me out. This is some bull crap that Samsung does. They make you damn sign in. What is it here? 48. It's 48 here right now. I didn't realize it was this cold. It's going to get down to 39 degrees tonight. But tomorrow's going to be today's going to be up to 66. Yeah. And I'm sorry, pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that. I'm drinking water again. So today is going to be 66, but this is amazing. It is from 4 a.m. in the morning. Check this out. From 4 a.m. in the morning until it's going to rise 20 degrees. From 4 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m., it's going to change almost 20 degrees. That is interesting. But I've watched it do greater than that before. I checked out, whoa, do you keep forgetting that I mess with Zach? I've been messing with Zach since 17. So I know about Gematria and Gematsu because Divinations is part of Gematsu. So it's all the same thing, Gematria, Gematsu. Divinations come under Gematsu. So it's all a very similar practice. All a very similar practice, woke. So I don't believe in anything, but I know there's something to the words and the numbers. So yeah. So I'm not a believer, so I don't believe in anything. Has TJ Barrett been doing much? Haven't watched much of the series. I watched the first half. Not a very good game for the Knicks. None of them was really playing well. Yeah. I was about to say, as soon as I read that, I was like, yeah, Rose had a decent game. He felicitates a little bit, but he wasn't really breaking down the defense. It's in the 80s in Alabama. Wow. Hey, Lorenzo, what's happening? These Rose find his game in the playoffs. Yeah. But he was he was passing and dishing pretty nice. Where do you see the Spurs going in the league? Where do you see the Spurs? The Spurs are knocked out. Oh, where do you see the Spurs going? Ryan, the Spurs didn't even make the playoffs. So I'm kind of, are you mean what advances or draft picks they're going to get to try to help them? I'm not sure because they've turned their team around. Aldridge, I was real surprised they got rid of Aldridge. So that tells me, but getting rid of Aldridge is what you're seeing in the league, getting rid of big dudes. And, the league wants to be moving up and down instead of people posting and stuff. They don't want that anymore. They want the 6'9", 6'10". That's kind of how they're moving the game. They want to get rid of 7-footers. Or if you're a 7-footer like Porzingis, you're okay. But they don't want a 7-footer like Aldridge, They don't want a 7-footer, the big fella that's playing for the Lakers now. They kind of want to, they seem like they're trying to get rid of the catch in the future. Okay, yeah. So Becky Hammon is going to get that job. I mean, don't make any. She's going to get the job whenever Popovich, the CIA officer that he is, whenever he steps down, Becky's going to get that job. I'm pretty sure that's why. Tim Duncan quit last year, is because he saw the writing on the wall that Becky was going to get the job instead of him. So Aldridge said that Dom retired. That's right. Aldridge did retire because we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. He had the rhythm in his heart was kind of jumping around, and he's had it 2 or 3 times. So when it's time to rest, because as I mentioned before, Reggie Lewis was just doing rehab, shooting baskets. He wasn't doing anything hard. But remember, they traded him, or he got put on waivers before, or they cut him before he had that. Pop is Army intelligence. Yeah, Pop is Navy intelligence. No, I want to say Army intelligence, but yeah, he's intelligence. So maybe CIA is intelligence, though. But yeah, Pop is intelligence. He's definitely intelligence. Definitely, you can look that up. Yep, Pop is intelligence. He's still kind of old. Pop is an MK handler, ultra handler. That would make sense too. And again, pushing that agenda. He was bringing all these Europeans, and it didn't matter if they was melanated Europeans or not. He was bringing Europeans in, and now it's switched to Dallas and Utah. Now Dallas and Utah are the one that are bringing the European players in. But that's a good analysis. So, do you see Kwame Brown and Judge Brown broke the internet again? Your thoughts? I mean, okay. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm even wondering if Joe Brown, because Joe Brown, he admits in them stories that he's been out there. He's been out there. So anytime you're on TV, you are compromised one way or another. And so when you see this cat start aligning with certain people, it makes you wonder. And then even that cat. Now, I love the history of Joe Brown. He was there when Bunchy Carter and John Higgins got killed. And he tells he broke the story about Elaine Brown probably being a double agent, working for Boss. Was that their name? Karenga's group? Because she started the fight. She's the one so she was probably like the one when whatever Malcolm happened to Malcolm, she was probably the instigator. Like instead of saying, get your hand on my pocket, Elaine Brown was fucking with the Push, I think was their name, Push. And Elaine Brown, this is Joe Brown that was there. He said Elaine Brown said that one of the Push people smacked her. Bunchy Carter and John Higgins didn't bring guns. Maybe the only people had guns. I think one of the bodyguards or one of the Panthers brought guns anyway. They told him don't bring guns. I think one of the Panthers brought guns and he was able to shoot back. And remember, Bunchy Carter and John Higgins got killed on UCLA's campus. So don't forget that. So that was definitely government kind of enacted. So I watched a little bit of it. Again, I'm kind of turned off by Kwame. It's nothing new about him. It's the same old thing over and over again. So I don't know. Hey, that's my thing, Rocky. Can we really trust Joe Brown? That's a good point. I need to check out that Swiss interview properly. Okay, yeah, I'm tired of him too. He ain't saying nothing new. I think once Randall, he got the most improved award, he was told not to play as hard as he did in the playoffs. That play in the first half, it's like he missed a short shot. He got the rebound again, and don't even try to shoot it high. Don't try to go into anybody's body. He just throws in the air, and it's easily blocked. Like, yeah, there's something going on there. Do you think DM Nix knew it was coming, or is his clone? Yeah, I think he probably see. Drug addicts are easy to take out, though. I mean, we always remember that it's easy to take a drug addict out, because you can say any time there's something wrong with them, and just the lifestyle they live, it makes them vulnerable as well. So he was always going to be vulnerable. So inside. He was wearing them sunglasses inside. Unless somebody was trolling, they said Kwame was in Zach's chat yesterday. I heard him say that. I wasn't in Zach's chat. I was watching the game. So it was somebody else on that I was watching. Maybe I watched a little bit. He didn't have Rhino on. So if he don't have Rhino on, I don't listen to everybody else's question. And it's like, I don't call in because I ain't cool with Zach. I got this. Why should I look at it like, let other people talk. I get to talk for here 2-3 hours. So it's nothing. It's no diss to Zach, but it's like, I heard Zach say that. We'll see. And then Zach says he wants to get in. Kwame ain't looking for names like Zach. Kwame's looking for bigger names. See, you see this Joe Brown is a step up from Tommy Sotomayor, that guy. You see Kwame stepped up from Tommy. It took him a year to get a better interviewer. And then he got a better one with Joe Brown. So the next one's going to be better. So you were going to see him take them moves. And it's all about, he ain't never been famous. I mean, I would say this of Kwame Brown playing ball didn't make him famous. He's more famous now than he ever was. So you don't think that's ego tripping? I mean, he ain't even doing his phone sideways. He's still doing his phone like this to record. So that tells you he ain't trying to be sophisticated with it. But you can see what it's trying to. I mean, he and I bet he had a slight machine behind him because he was at the right place at the right time. If you understand, I mean, the timing for him to come in was a little too perfect if you analyze it. So that's what I look at it. And like after a week, like it'd be me if I'm just saying the exact same thing every day. And I come on here sometimes 5 to 7 times a week. I'm on here almost every day. I take a few days off, but I try to mix it up a little bit. That brother's talked for 2 weeks. He talked the same shit about the same people for 2 weeks. I say, and see, he could be. He very well could be. Yeah. And like Ciova was showing yesterday is how we see how these numbers is artificially put up. And that's my point on my other channel. My Andy Dalton video, why did it gain 62,000 views? I mean, just why? Explain that to me. Why I made almost $800 off that one video, basically. Why? There was nothing new. I'm still using my old TV. Matter of fact, the Note 9 camera. What was different about my analysis? Of all the analysis I make, none of my, the best, one of my basket manipulation videos ever did was 7,000-8,000 views, I think, on my other channel. One of my LeBron videos, I forget. But I had one basket manipulation, and not the one that Zach shared. The one that Zach shared on his channel did 100,000, but it was my video. But it had 100,000 views. But I think it was 7,000 or 8,000, one of my basket manipulation videos on my other channel. So it's these people are definitely artificially put in there. But with the perfect timing. He hit a perfect segment. It was kind of coming into Floyd. I mean, he hit the timing at the perfect. So that's what makes me look at like, yeah, he had a little help. And let's be honest, Charlemagne is a fairly easy target. Stephen A. Smith, people don't like him, basically. And people saw how Corey pumped down to him. Because Corey didn't realize how big Smith is, and Smith walks around always with bodyguards and shit, but he didn't realize that. Yeah, Kwame wouldn't look at Smith and feel the same way. Kwame's 6'10", 6'11", and Smith's what, 6'4". and Corey is my height. Corey's 6 foot like I am, and I probably would have put that work on Corey. What does it say? Check out the High Value Men Ringleaders and Kevin Samuels. See, I never watched Kevin Samuels. I saw that he's got a hairspray in there. Oh, you never saw my old channel? Yeah, I had almost 3,000 subs or 2,300, something like that when they struck it down. I have been up since 17. And I'm going to try to get Godspeed TV on here, Pomo. because I was my talk shoe, like my talk shoe when I went off of it for a few months. When I came back, I couldn't get into my show that's been open since 16. It's the same channel, but none of my material going back to 16, 17, 18 is there. Yeah, so they erased all that stuff because me and Poe we would just do shows by ourselves. So, and then having when my brother was on, when Derek came on, I need to find Derek's channel, Gematronate or something, because it took all my music away. But yeah, so wearing sunglasses a sign of deception. It is, and that's I'll say this, that used to be let's Hollywood, yes. I talked before, it was kind of a Black Panther thing too, of wearing the shades, and you were seeing high schoolers all around the country wearing shades in their picture, even junior high people wearing shades. It was kind of for brothers and sisters, kind of a Pantherish kind of thing that kind of swept the nation. But in Hollywood and yeah, entertainment, yeah, definitely a sign of deception. Yep. In the 60s, you'd always see him wear that. Charlemagne been accused of that. No, that's a old. I mean, that's old. He pled out what 10 years ago or longer. He pled out on that 10 years or longer. But I thought everybody knew that history about Charlemagne, far as the German history, knowing that was a German dude. I mean, where he took the guy's name from, or he took it was a dude. PJ, that's funny. He gives those kind of vibes. I've never watched him. AT Bull. Yeah, I caught a little bit of him and Joe Brown, but I watched about 20 minutes of it and then I started doing something else. But yeah, it's yeah, I would imagine, but I never listened to him. Was a male cheerleader in high school, looked real feminine. Okay, Lobo. They trolling him again. That's some shit. They didn't stop trolling him, huh? Let's see. Okay, looks like they. Oh yeah. And the views ain't changed. You got to permanently ban them, and the views ain't changed. So yeah, I see they trying to troll him again. He was a big trigger. Ain't no dude like that gonna give me no game. There you go. 44 watching. Oh really? Now 40. Ah, okay. Yeah. So before it was up to and everybody was in there. Yeah. Looks like they kind of got it covered. Calais looked like Calais got it covered. So, but I've never witnessed that before, going after the brother so much. So, it was a lot of people going after him at once. A lot of people going after him. But yeah, he ain't giving up no game. He ain't talking about because that's the. But again, this guy's gonna get pension. You know, that's the main thing. We keep seeing controlled opposition, and that's all. That's all we see from him. He's just controlled opposition. He ain't nothing new. I mean, after the same rap for so long, Darkman put me in on Supplizy's channel, and Supplizy put me on your channel. Glad to discover all three of y'all. Yeah, I mean, back in 17, the summer of 17, it used to be me, Sly, and Darkman X. We would come on his channel. Darkman, he had got in, like, I don't know, maybe y'all remember this, but it was some kind of water thing that they all invested in. And Darkman invested in that. And he found out the dudes were scamming, and so that hurt him. And so some of them shows he was just kind of going off about that. So, but yeah, that's how, like, the summer of 17 is when I started going on Sly's channel. Is the summer of 17, so it goes back that far. But with me and Pomo and being on Talk Shoe, that went back to the summer before, the summer of 16. And Anita Offset, she used to have her own radio show. So I was trying to get her to come on someday. Well, I'm glad Sly did. Yeah, I'm cool with him. He ain't talking spiritual. No, he ain't. He ain't talking spiritual. No, he ain't. So thank you, Anise. Kevin is very disrespectful, condescending. He doesn't have tech. You can't get your point across respectively. Interesting. Like I said, I've never watched this show. I've seen pictures, and it was obvious he had the little spray hair. So I but what is he gonna tell me? I don't. I've been married 3 times. I think it's 4 different baby mamas. So I have a lot of different relationship uh, expertise. So why would I listen to somebody younger than me to try to give me some relationship expertise? It's not going to. I don't need it. So that kind of thing would never appeal to me to watch that motherfucker. So chat popping tonight. Good to see the support. And he like-minded people. Yeah. Cameo has that spray hair shit like from the barber shop. Magnets. Oh, okay. That's cool. I'm glad you found it like that. But no, like this is the funny thing about the hairspray on that Jalen Rose uses. Jalen Rose uses it too. If y'all remember, and some of this is going to be a little older than some people, but there used to be, okay, this is how you can understand. Like, when some of the cable channels go off and they just have filler commercials, that spray stuff, that spray stuff has to be around since, I'm gonna say, the 90s. So that ain't nothing new. Because when they first brought that spray, it was one dude, not the dude that died on not the dude that did the tape commercial, not the guy that died on the airplane, but it was another older dude that was the info king. And he started showing that spray stuff. And it was in a can. You could shake it up in the can. If you had bald spots, and it was mostly for Europeans, you could spray it. And like it really helped women because it would show women that was kind of getting balding, and the women could spray it, and it sticks to your hair. That's the thing, is it will stick to your hair to kind of make your hair look fuller. But that stuff been around, I bet 30 years. I bet that stuff been around 30 years, if not longer. The Rocky said the barber asked me if I wanted it. I was like, my hairline up, Gabe. Yeah, just go bald. Yeah, come on home. That's what they was trying to tell Tiger Woods. His shit was looking all. It's like, Tiger, come on home. Tiger, come on home. Looking like Quee shoe shining. Yeah, that is. I mean, Jalen Rose one night had it. Did y'all peep where he had the little curl here? It was like all paste, like Jermaine Jackson paste, but then he had the nerve to put a curl in there. Come on. That was definitely a come on, man. That looked ridiculous. We know you got fake hair. We know you putting them weaves on. Like when he got this much afro, that's all a man wig or hat wig. I think that's what Nick calls them, the head hat. I think that's what Nick Taylor says, the head hat. Jalen is one of the better jobs I've seen. The barber does a good job with blending it in, and the dye matches his hair color. There you go. And that's what you want. That's what you want. But when you're in your mid to late 40s, your hair is going south and this gray comes in. I remember that. Yeah. Sly let Darkman, yes, because I believe Darkman Ness got flagged, and Darkman just let it all out on dude. He told what happened. Yeah. But it was a couple nights he did that. Remember when Carlos Boozer played a game. I don't know how much money he got, but Carlos Boozer had the hair, the spray fake hair, and the beard. But it didn't run. You notice that? Look up Boozer with all that fakeness. It didn't run. Corey Holcomb said he was at a Genuine's concert, and he said Genuine's, that fake hair started sweating when he sweat. When it hit him, it started sweating. It started sweating coming down. But that is a good point about Jalen. I think Valerie put that. That is a good point. Yeah, Jermaine Jackson was the first right after Michael. You could see that his little thing on top was all put together like, silly putty on his head. But yeah, Jermaine Jackson was the first to really just go all with it and say, yeah, this is it here. Yeah, Trae Young, you can see that Trae Young going to be bald pretty soon too. And what is he, 20, 21? You can just see the way it's up top. That's why if you're young, do not let them line you up in the front. Because over the years, it'll be like, first, your line being here, But as the years go by, your lining go back and back and back. And so why help it? Lining your hair in tops, Bijine hair dye. Yeah, Trey Young is his. I noticed that. But yeah, I got Carlos Boozer stuff, and you can still find that. Brothers trying not to sweat. Yeah, the sweat seems to, but I don't know. Boozer stuff was so good that even when he sweated, it didn't sweat off. If you look back, but I think I watched that game. Seemed like that game was on TBS. Seemed like I watched that game when he had all that fake stuff. But he had to got paid. Who would just do that without getting paid? Somebody paid him and he did it. And there's a lot of TV personalities that use that stuff. You know who wears the most wigs of anybody is the people that are in the Congress and the Senate and the cabinet. Those and CNN, Fox, and NBC. People on TV like that. Oh my goodness, they keep what is the biggest man wigs called that Jimi Hendrix used? What was that called? I can't think of that. The name of the company that Jimi Hendrix was their first customer. But if you look at the Jimi Hendrix Woodstock, Jimi Hendrix was wearing a wig. I think the last time you see Jimi Hendrix's real hair would be the Miami concert. You look at the Miami concert, when he takes his hat off, he's losing his hair there. Because again, Jimmy used to, what do they call it? Process. He would process his hair, but he would do the process where he had the more hair on top. But, that's still burning your hair up. Same stuff Malcolm X was doing. Jimi Hendrix used to do too. Oh, but see, what LeBron did, if you watched him, and you can see that, the scars have kind of healed the back, but what LeBron has done is he's concentrating now on just having the hairline here. So you cut them patches off, and it's a very painful. And then you start putting the hair patches in here. And so when LeBron retires, LeBron is going to be able to just spray in that area. So I think that's what he does. Because you look at his commercials. When you look at LeBron's commercials, and remember when he was in the movie with Amy Schumer, remember? You didn't see no bald. He had all that spray and all that hair stuff in there. So if you remember the Amy Schumer movie that LeBron was in. So I think that's why he's not doing, because remember with Karl Malone had the Rogaine commercial. Because Rogaine is a heart medicine, but they found out it'd grow hair in here. And remember Karl Malone sitting at the barber, and the barber gives him the Rogaine. I don't think you need the barber to get Rogaine. And he's about to leave, and Carl's like, oh, and the barber's like, oh, what do you need, Carl? He said, I can't leave without my Rogaine. Y'all remember that commercial with Karl Malone? I'm glad I went natural. I don't need to worry about sweating off my perm. There you go, Adise. LeBron should have been cut that shit off. Yeah, he was when he came in the league though. When LeBron came in the league, he had the short haircut. And I know a lot of people gonna say that was copying Jordan, whatnot, but it's like, bruh. My mother's father ended up going bald. My father too. I am screwed. Let us all pray for my follicles. Well, I looked at like my father didn't go bald, like my grandfather. My grandfather didn't go bald until he was like in his 80s. My father didn't go bald until he was in his 70s. But my mother's family, I'm looking at all them, like my great grandfather. I looked at him, but like I got like my great grandfather's uncle that was in the Civil War. He ain't bald. We got pictures of him as old dude. He always lived with a full head of hair. But my great grandfather, not him, not him. So I kind of knew. And looking at my cousins that all had the big afros, I just knew. So when I've said this before, when I went to Pittsburgh, I was in 10th grade, so that must have been the spring of 77. And I saw how the brothers was there, and I was like, yeah, I'm cutting this off. And I just started cutting it bald. I just started. Rogaine makes your head hurt. Yeah, I heard it gives you headaches too. LeBron, just let it go or get a lace front. There you go, Valerie. There's a game where LeBron's toupee came up and AD pointed out. Yeah, that was before. Right, that was before he was just because you can't when you do them hair plugs, you ain't doing a whole lot at one time. So that was when he was still before all them hair plugs had came in. But like if you look at like LeBron here, they started coming in. So a lot of that is his hair now. So he needs less and less of that. That's why he's been wearing his hair so low. I'm gonna tell you the one that looked funny is look at Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers got a line tattooed. He has a tattoo line in the front because Doc will show like a line here. So Doc I think has a tattoo. I think he got a line tattooed, permanent line tattooed. Watch when you see Doc. I think they play tomorrow. Watch up front with Doc. Doc is my age, maybe a year younger, but about around my age. But he's got a tattoo line. But yeah, I remember that he because what LeBron did is LeBron wore a headband and he pushed the headband back and it took that hair back. It took that hair back. But I just wonder because Elgin Baylor was probably the longest wearing wig dude in America. Now I used to live next door to Carl Eller, and Carl Eller wore the cane go backwards because at first he tried the wig, and then next thing you know, he was wearing the cane go wig backwards. And Carl Eller ain't that big a dude. He ain't that big a dude at all. I would see Carl Eller was old, and I'd be leaving the club. Carl Eller come and get the club, but they said he had one of them kind of addictions. So I'm pretty sure that's why he was down. Yeah, you saw that tattoo stuff. Yep, Chris Paul. Yeah, Chris Paul is getting there too. Right, it was peeling from the front. Tattoo line. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Got his whole head and face hair plugged. Floyd Mayweather got his whole head and face hair plugged. That's funny. Always wondered how Doc got his haircut like that. Yeah, look at the front. That's all fake. He's got some kind of, it looks like a tattoo. Now Caruso, I never could understand that. Caruso kept that little, and Caruso is young. But if you looked at Caruso playing college, he was losing his hair then too. Right, it can cause traction alopecia. I've been wearing a ponytail for years and my hair is in the middle of my back. Oh, there you go. There you go, Valerie. Uh-oh. We need some pictures. This is interesting. This show goes to you that men are just as vain as women. Oh, exactly. The goat's all bald anyway. There you go. Chris Paul has nothing on top. Yeah, he has nothing on top. Going bald ain't nothing if you rock it like 8 win. I've been bald since I was actually, my mother, when I was a little boy, she would just zip my head off. So it wasn't until I was in second grade and the afro came. And then I watched the afro there was a barber in Battle Creek, because I lived in Kalamazoo, that was cutting the hair kind of the old shag where it'd be less on front and you kind of had a little thicker afro like in the back. So I did that. But after doing that, I went to Pittsburgh. And then I was like, hey, and then I started zipping it off. And then there was 1 year to be different in North Carolina. I had a full beard and I let my afro grow like a little mini afro. Just didn't cut my hair, and I got all teammates cutting hair. Didn't really trust them. And so 1 year, but that was it. But ever since then, I've been zipping it off, shaving it myself, because I just knew what was coming. Like my 20-year-old and my 18-year-old, they don't ever remember me with hair. My 26-year-old really doesn't either. He really doesn't either. My oldest son, kind of, sort of. He kind of remembers me, but not much. Shag's a Midwest thing. Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right. Yeah. But that's Denny was the first that was cutting people hair like that. And so, yeah. I see where my daughter got something sticky on this computer. How old were you when you took the plunge to shave it? I was in 10th grade. Like, I went to Pittsburgh with an afro and saw everybody on the East Coast was like having it, wearing stocking caps, having waves and stuff. And I was like, And luckily I took hats. I had dress hats too. Well, just straw hats I was going to party with. So that would have been like 77. Yeah, because I watched the college finals when I was in Pittsburgh, so that had to be 77. As soon as I got back to Kalamazoo, I went to a barber and just cut it off. And so when I went to college, I might have not cut it for a month or so because I knew they was going to cut my hair in college. That was kind of part of the hazing, was they cut our hair off. So I knew that was coming. It's like my friend didn't play football because he had, as I was saying, he had the carefree curl out of California. He was like, yeah, I'm not cutting off my carefree curl. And he was the only one down there with hair like that. So he said, yeah, that's the end of my football. They rock the shag in certain parts of Texas. Oh, okay. Yeah, Valley traction alopecia. Really, I see a lot of women with the missing edges. I'll tell you, like, what I see too is women that just wear their hair back, like they comb their hair back and they just put it in a ponytail. I see a lot of women on my Facebook going bald like that because the same thing happens when you just pull your hair back and this hair is just trained to go back. You see the same thing in women. And it's a lot of women that wearing ponytails, but their hairline be way back here and it not be like in their 30s. And that's a thing that you, as a woman, you got to always switch. But I see this in both women. It ain't just sisters. I see this in. I see this in both. You know, that just combing your hair backwards all the time. It seems like it makes it go away. Really, and I see a lot of women with the missing edges. Yep. Jerry Curl from Hollywood Shuffle. Beverly's like, pass me that. And then he ran out and he was like, he was fiending like a junkie, you know, and his hair was tightening up. That was kind of clever that they did that Hollywood Shuffle. That was real clever, wasn't it, PJ? Dallas is known for the shag. Okay. And there was people even had the Jerry curl shag, like people that would get it Jerry curled or maybe a carefree curl or California curl, and they would have it kind of going backwards like that. My partner Randy always wore it like, and it would look nice. He would get his hair looking real nice. And he had black hair too. He's not with us. He's a brother that was I knew from high school that ain't with us anymore. But look on Facebook and you see the women that's always doing their hair back in ponytails. You see them going bald. That's why some of the ladies, when they like, there's one chick that's on she's got the lace front, and what's interesting is like she has a part right here that's just empty head. Or you don't want to be like the one I showed on Floyd's trial or Chauvin's trial. You know, this chick is like looking on the monitor and seeing her wig is scooting up, and so she's tightening it like, you know, like ain't nobody looking. Chick, you're on TV. It's multiple cameras on. You're not gonna get away with that. Like the Wicked Witch ran away. Best advice to find your purpose. Okay. What's the best advice to find your purpose? Do what you love. Do what you love. That's the best advice. Do what you love. Do what gives you joy. I mean, if your job, no matter what it is, gives you joy, that's it. That's it. You know, sometimes you will go through almost your whole life and then you hit your purpose. It comes later. Some people, it comes earlier. So that's a hard call because it's different for different people. It'll come when you are ready to make it come because it comes from you. Remember that. So it'll happen when you make it happen. So that's the thing. So that's the thing is whatever your passions are, you know, look at the one thing. Let me make my eye run. But look at the things that you find passionate. And those are the things that, you know, that you might think of doing for the rest of your life. So it's that's not a easy question. Women should switch the parts up. If you wear your hair on one side all the time, it may start thinning. Exactly. Why is hair so important to us? That's a good point too. Why is it? Why is it? That's a good point. You can't be having too many random people dealing with your hair. Find someone solid and back up when your primary isn't available. That's a good point. That's a good point. I think the health of my hair every day. You should. You should. Appreciate it, 8 Win. Still young at 21 years old, finding my way in the world. Yeah, there's no way you could find it now. I mean, because passions always change. I mean, like I was saying with just the time walking papers, and I think I was given those at 15, 14 or 15 by Turtle Gang, maybe sooner. Trying to think, did I have them then? No, probably 15. He gave them to me. And that didn't, you know, it didn't open up all this other stuff. It was just I kept researching, and it opened up so many doors. It was like I was reading about the time walking papers, and I was kind of looking for other things, and then that led me to Jose Aguirre's, and you know, the rest is just kind of I don't know. It's like as the information was coming, I try to look up the best information for me. I got vertigo to go white patches all over my body. Oh, okay. So go, okay. I understand. Not vertigo, it's vertigo. Yes. One of my cousins has that as well. So I don't let random people mess with my hair. Held to the no. Yeah, women is kind of different, but even men, you just got to be aware of that. Don't let people line you up in the front. You do it yourself or do it every other week, but every time you get a cut, that's because again, I watch me. Like I got a picture of my son and I can see that it directly comes from people lining me up in my front. And it looks good to have that, a cross and then the square here. That looks good, but it's okay to get it squared in here, but don't let them mess with the top. Don't let them mess with that middle part. Mm. Hey, Lone Play. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So that's something to just be aware of. But yeah, the life purpose is, I mean, that's a thing that might go through your whole life. Like my mother, for instance, my mother got into miniature bears, and they're quite expensive. I mean, some that she has is basically one of a kind. And again, this she didn't start doing this probably was in her 50s. My mother's like in her 80s now. Well, she's 80. She just turned 80 this year. So it was something that she found she loved. She helped run a business at the time, and so they say always a changing thing. It could always be a changing thing. And like you said, you love it. So the more you love something, the more you research it, the more you could fall in love with whatever the thing is that you're pursuing. So I guess that's the best advice. I try my best to just follow my intuition and do me. That's it. That's it. Like you can't really compare yourself to anybody. It's like spiritual experiences is different for everybody, or even just life experiences. Don't even got to put the spiritual stuff into it. It's just life experiences. Let me open this window because it is getting. I needed to push this table back. There we go. These lights get hot. And block out the noise. That's what you do. Yeah, I get you. It's. I love my hair. It's a pain in the ass to deal with. It's thick and it's halfway down my back, and I dread wash day. It's an ordeal. I bet, Ernest. Sebastian, do you think money brings problems? Not necessarily. What happens is if you are making serious money, you got a lot of people that all of a sudden can tell you how to best make more money or double your money. Now, I'll give you an example. I've said this story before. I had a cousin that inherited some money. It was a dude stayed by his side, was his main guy, and the dude was telling him, you give me so much, and I can go down to Atlanta and get you a key, bring you a key back, and we'll triple our money. And of course, my cousin was silly enough to give this dude the money without going to Atlanta. He gave him like 20 racks. So he caused his own problem. He didn't understand that he was around someone, fishing. He didn't realize that. And that like I'll say this, my days hustling, I've had one of my best friends lives in Miami. I had times where he would even try to work me. He would try to send me with people, and people be that, well, give me the money and I'll come back. And I'm like, really? You think I flew all this way to give you 80 racks? And you think I'm just going to sit here and like, well, no. So the problem is, it's not that it causes problems, but it brings more sharks around you. That's the problem. And it's even mates. You got to really look at that thing. Because think about it. I hit the lottery today. Do you know how many 20-year-old women on my Facebook would all of a sudden be like, hey, do you see how that works? All of a sudden there's an interest there where there's no real interest now. So you see, that kind of thing comes up too. And the trophy girlfriend, the old dude want to show everybody he still got it, when it's you got it in your pocket. It ain't that you got it, it's you got it in your pocket. So it doesn't have to control your own money. That's the best word I would say is control your own money. Um, don't really listen to all those, and I mean serious money, not just the money you work for. If you're really getting serious money, mm. So got some collagen powder on the pills and ground flaxseed. It helps with keeping your hair healthy and growing. That's a good point. I add it to my beverages. I keep some flaxseed. Have you ever a silk press? Oh, okay. Yeah, long play. Keep your circle tight. That's right. And don't let like if you get this bread, don't let people know you got the bread. That's another part is don't let them know you have it. Um, like even with this Bitcoin, don't trust somebody you don't really know. Learn it yourself. Learn the mining and learn how to do it yourself. And Bitcoin, oh my goodness. Last I saw today, it was 36 grand. Whew. If you went in when it was 59, you have taken a beating. Let's see if it went up because I watched it. Yeah, it's still 36.9. But in 7 days, I don't remember it. Okay, it went up $800. It made it back $1,100 in 12 hours though. So it's down to 36,000 from 59,000. So that's the people that push it on Facebook is like ride the wave. That's a typhoon. Oh, now gold was up. Gold was up 1,900. Let's see what this says. Gold was up to 1,900. Yeah, gold finished at $1,907. Gold is a great buy right now. Gold is a great buy. Even I'll say this: houses. It's a. If you own houses, this is the time to sell. This is the time to sell because, like here, Robbinsdale is a moderate place to live here. It's the west side, technically the west side of Minneapolis. Minneapolis doesn't really have a west side. The north, it's like the northwest side ends, and then Robbinsdale. So it's really no west side. But these houses are mostly $250,000 to $300,000 houses. We've had a friend that's been bidding on houses for the past 3 months and been outbid with almost every house. And not outbid, but like people saying they don't want their houses inspected, giving them asking. One house he got outbid. They paid $10,000 over the asking price. $10,000 over asking. You just don't see that. You just never see that kind of thing. Okay. There we go. So, if you were going to fix your house up, I would wait because materials are going to cost. Wood is up, nails, all that kind of shit. They're building the houses. So if you was talking about adding on to your house, I would wait. But if you were thinking about selling, it's the time to sell because it'll be people standing in line, probably give you probably give you what you're asking for. Yeah, don't ever speak about my finances to anyone, even my close friends. Yeah, you shouldn't. That's a good idea, Lone Play. The technology is still early stages. That's a good point. 36 from 50. No, 59. 30. It was 59 within a month ago. It was 59. It was up 59 racks and it dropped to 36. Yeah, I'm looking at blockchains and tech standpoint. Tech's here to stay. Tech is here to stay. Thank you. I bought a Nintendo 64. It comes in on Saturday. It costs close to 40. It used to cost like 60. All the video games. My boys was lucky to get the new Xbox. They was lucky to get it, the brand new one, because they was out. You know, people was home, so everybody was playing these games. I hope the market gets better in a few years. Yeah. Yeah, COVID raised up especially the video games. We couldn't find, what was it, the Nintendo handheld? We couldn't find one of those a few months ago. OBS, Crazy Sarge, OBS is going to cost £1 of gold to reheat a house. Wow. Consoles are hella expensive right now. Yeah, they are, and then pretty rare too. OBS is going to cost £1 of gold to resheet a house. There you go. There you go. This ain't the year to, and I know somebody that did do like they started building on their they redid their house, but they started work right before COVID hit. They started working on the house, so they kind of got a break because they had already started. But if they was trying to do that now, it's like I'm looking at two places to start a spiritual school. One place has pretty much the price is unchanged, but it's just a matter of the building. It ain't really a building, it's a freaking house, but it's a building. And it's like, do I want to take that risk on putting that building together? But the other one has more land. And so it's not as much upkeep as I see. But one is on the lake and one's not. So, but those prices for those two properties are the same. My daughter has a Nintendo Switch. She does not play. Oh, okay. That's what we was looking for. My daughter has, I think, the same thing. I think she has a Switch. She don't play it either. She's never brought it over. Yeah, she don't play it either. And I know her mother looked all over to get it. It's tough to bring it back for scalp health. Follicles and apply organic, unrefined coconut oil afterwards, which baking soda or sugar, coffee base. Good point. 300 feet of fence is a bit over $5,000 in materials right now. Damn, that ain't even much. Ooh. Yeah, but I just watch the prices of wood. The prices of wood go up. That's mostly what I do. If I'm not watching like the sports show, you watch 1 hour of sports shows. That's the whole day on ESPN or Fox. Like I can't stand Colin, whatever his name is. It comes on Fox. I tend to not watch him. Speak for yourself. Ocho is bought and paid for. We see Ocho is he's in the Lexus commercial, so we know Ocho is going up in them rooms. So. Yeah, but that's the thing is, yeah, you definitely want to keep your hair easy as possible and manageable. Yeah, because I remember seeing older family members like my grandmother when she would dye her hair, she would dye it a type of metallic gray almost, or almost a silverish blue, and it looked so neat on my grandmother, but it was almost like a silverish blue, like it was like almost a light blue tint to her hair. It used to be cute on her though when she was like in her 60s. Good point. That's a good point. Thank you for that, Valerie and Anise. That's some good advice. But yeah, it's just the housing market. Now the cars, it's a lot of cars. Like it's like if you plan on traveling, remember a lot of the rental car companies sold their fleets off. A lot of rental car companies sold their fleets, so they're trying to catch back up. What did they say? 40 million people are going to be flying this weekend, and another 30 million going to be driving. So, I'm not really doing much. Console, I play with friends. Trying to play Mario Kart 64 on it. You're 23, so you're slightly older than my son and slightly younger than my other son. Because I bought all those games. What was the Mario game where you would fight the big dinosaur and you'd get on top and you'd fight your way to get on top, and once you got on top, you could grab him by the tail and twirl him off the mountain? I remember buying the consoles and they begged me to play, but I was never any good. Like I was mentioning, my man is sitting there like this and I can't figure out how to put my foot to climb up the wall. So maybe it was Mario Park, because this would have been, let me see, Brennan was born in 96. No, Brennan was born in 95. So I'm talking about like 90, like maybe early that'd be about right when he turned 4 or 5, like early 2000, whatever Nintendo that was. I had to buy a couple of them. Oh shit. Ooh. Okay, read that before. Could be. I don't remember which one it was. It was when the shit first came out. I bought my oldest son one, my Atari 2600. Yeah, my brother had that. So Devin is dating Kendall. He should have learned something from Ben Simmons. Really. You believe acupuncture works? It does. It does work. Soap, it definitely works. I'd get it done at least once a week. I didn't get it done this week. I feel pretty good, but I get it done almost about once a week. And what it does is it you have healing meridians. Like each part of your internal organs, you have these healing meridians. And so what you want to do is find a way to communicate. And I haven't really found a better way than acupuncture. Acupuncture is a really great way to communicate with the inside of your body. And so that is one way to do it. Y'all hear that? Little fan and shit. See how loud that thing is. Oh, okay. Scoot over here and be in the fan. Oh wow, that's pushing out a lot of cool air. All right. So it works. I don't believe in anything, but it works. I know it works. And so, I mean, if you don't like getting poked, then yeah, that might not be your thing. But sometimes, like they, he can hit a certain nerve, and because it's a science behind it, and a lot of times he hits certain. You can feel the pressure relieving. You can feel the pressure leaving, and it is one of the few times that it puts you in a situation where you're forced to talk to your internals, and that's why I love it because you know there's worlds inside of you. I mean, that's what the chakras is trying to show you that it's worlds inside of you. Um, Now, again, I read about the chakras. I don't really practice that stuff because I know that you can create a whole room full of that of worlds, not just the ones here. You got a whole bunch of them, and so um, not a lot to teach about that part. But this little fan is kind of cool. I guess you can kind of even bend it. Oh, 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 oh! You can bend it. Oh, there we are. Now I'm picking in tall cotton. Used to work with dudes used to say that slave saying. I'm going to work this weekend after we're done building the fences. Got to do some more alchemy. Okay, okay. So I'm start doing when this lockdown's over. Yeah, so it comes like my chiropractor does it. My chiropractor does it. So normally, yeah, because when I go see my chiropractor, I'm normally there for a good hour or so because they give me about 15 to 20 minutes of acupuncture. So yeah, that's good, Crazy Sarge. I grew up playing with them, and by the 40s, I still play with games. They're therapeutic. I can feel that. Isn't it old Chinese? Yes, it's very ancient. It's a very ancient Chinese practice, and it's quite thorough. A lot of the chiropractors do it. I think in my life, I've known two separate chiropractors that that did acupuncture, and so another stand fan sounds loud. Let me turn this down a little bit. I like the Chinese. Me too, Rocky. But yeah, it's just an old tradition. It's a whole like one of the things they do on my back is called circling the dragon, and so they try to circle the nerve, and so they put enough parts around, and like my shoulder where my rotator cuff is still torn, but that's the place they put it on. But to me, the being to communicate with the internals, hmm, that's a cool little thing. I guess it's a bit meant to cool me off. Probably loud as hell though. And he says, I'll tell you, James, um, that was about 300 stitches there. This here, and about, let me get it right. I've had, let me see, they put 400 inside on my skull, and this was about another 400. Now, this shit here, I'll say this. What they did here is they can sand it down, and that shit hurts like a motherfucker, but they can sand your skin down. Um, Now, I'll tell you this my uncle, again, my family, we get keloids pretty bad. My uncle's was worse than this. and they removed it, and they tried to remove it with radiation. That's probably what gave him face cancer or jaw cancer. So, but I know one family in Michigan. This guy, his face, like from just acne, it broke out so bad where it looked like he had a beard like this, starting up here in keloids. So I know he had plastic surgery to remove some. So they can sand it down, but a lot of times if you get it removed, cut out, it's gonna grow back worse. So I would just say look into maybe sanding, but removing them. I don't know. Unless everybody got anybody's else answer, I'll just let it go because it's kind of it can make it worse. It can make it worse. I'll say this though. Hey, read my soul. I'll say this. Um, James. Oh, what's happening, James? I would say this. You can look into plastic surgery too. I mean, that's going to cost you a little more. But if you look into plastic surgery, that might give you some help without, making it worse. Because I know Tony had to get, yeah, because Tony, they cut all that keloid, because his whole family was like that. Like he had uncles where they would, like, we would hoop with them and they would just have big keloids across their chest and stuff. I don't think any of the women in their family had that. I'm not sure, but I know the men did. It was fairly common. But I remember that's what Tony finally had to do. Is Tony had to have plastic surgery. Uh, so that would be my best advice. Is they could sand it down, but removing them could make it worse. But plastic surgery, because plastic surgeries, they'll remove it and then they'll add it back when they close it. They'll tighten your skin. So that might be but even just depends on, because what keloiding is your skin is over healed. And like a lot of people, like the coach from his team made the tournament. From having, how brothers would get from the bumps from having the bad, shavers or the bad clippers, and the brothers get infections back there. Well, remember the coach, one of the college coaches, he had it, and the back of his whole head was basically keloided. And that might be an extreme example, but uh, your dad had him on his chest. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mr. Taylor, what's the worst sports injury I've seen? I guess it's a tie. Space Ghost ankle was turned completely around. So probably, I guess it's a three-way tie. Space Ghost had his ankle turned completely around during the game. Um, Governor, who's an actor now, I've talked about Governor being in The Wire. Kelvin Davis, he got clipped, and when we was playing Mississippi Valley, and we beat them down there. That was a year before Jerry Rice came, when Willie Todd was the quarterback, and he got clipped, and his ankle was destroyed. Again, when I had broke my hand, um, he had got the screws. Like he was looking to see how the screws was. And I remember looking at his X-ray, which is probably illegal because the doctor it was a football doctor, and he put both our X-rays up at the same time, and it showed that my crack in my hand when I broke it, it healed, and I got to see what them screws looked like in his ankle. So that was pretty bad. But we played my freshman year. We played Delaware State, and the dude broke his neck, and they had to come get him. The helicopter landed on the field. So that was probably the most, and he ended up, I don't think he had a broken neck, but they thought he did. And they helicoptered in this cat. No, maybe he did. I have to think about that. Look, see if I got notes anywhere for you. But he had, that's what they said. He had broke his neck, and they were scared to move him with the ambulance. So they came on the field and moved him off. So those was probably the three worst that I ever saw. Space Ghost looked like his foot was almost broken off his body. It was turned so far backwards, and he wasn't showing any pain, any nothing. And the thing about when Governor got clipped and destroyed his ankle, we had to ride back 15 hours from Mississippi back up to North Carolina. That was the first time I saw air cast used. I had never knew, so they put him in air cast and gave him a bunch of damn pills, but he made it. But that had to be a long. But I had to sit with Frog in a old 1950s civil rights. Remember when they would catch the buses in the civil rights, them old ass buses. We had our team bus was one of them old ass buses, no air condition, and Sprague is 6'8", 260, and I'm sitting next to him. So I'm like socking him in his leg. Wake up, get off me. Wake up, man. There, thank you. Troubling times right now. I'm amazed at how football players look like they have good form, but be breaking their necks. It's scary because I'm 33 and want to play at least one more time. Maybe it's too late for me. Uh, well, bad technique is the thing. Is you got to keep your head up, and technically you want to tackle with your shoulders. You know, like I've talked about. My friend, we called him Hammerhead Pete, and Pete, rest Pete, rest well. But Pete, because I was tackled where you put the crown of your head into somebody's chest. That's how I was taught to tackle. And that really didn't change until Nick Bonacani's son was playing, I think, for the Citadel. He was around my age, maybe a year younger, but Nick Bonacani, it might be in the Hall of Fame. He played with the undefeated Dolphins. He won the Super Bowl with the Dolphins. But his son did the same thing. He lowered his head and hit somebody and broke his neck. And then, he it paralyzed him. And that's when the tackling started changing. And so when I would ref, that's the first thing I told him. I'm like, if I see you lowering your head, I'm calling a penalty. I'm like, don't touch anybody's head. Don't lower your head. See who you hit, because you can't do this, because that's how you get hurt. Now, anything up, with your shoulders, you're supposed to tackle like this or like this. You don't run through them with your shoulders. You run through them and you shoot here. You keep your head out of it. You keep your head out of it. So, also found the device lowered at first. Well, that's not quite true, Rocky. Device lords was, well, if you mean from a grant standpoint, they taught some of them civil rights dude did teach them how, when they was in Gary, how to write the grants, because that's what people forget about. Like when you talk about Chairman Fred and the Panthers was getting federal money. They was writing grants. Look up the interview. Look up the little short about Fred Hampton. Some people is coming to him about a grant for a um, credit union, and he's like, "Well, where's the education?" He goes through that spew, but the Panthers was getting grant money. Don't think they weren't, because they were, because that shows it when Fred Hampton is looking at a credit, setting up a credit union, and so that's possible. So remember that they did get grants. So I think it's, so maybe I'm projecting. Yeah. So I think Rockefellers. Oh, funded device lords. Okay, yeah, I misread that. Yeah, device. Yeah, the Rockefellers founded a lot of stuff. There's even some things that Malcolm might even got a little Rockefeller money. Like this is what's interesting. If you look up Dr. Clark, was it Henry Clark? Nothing but educated by the Rockefellers. Nothing but educated by the Rockefellers. And you wonder why that Dr. Clark, that later went blind, I think from diabetes, why he only always talked about Pan Africanism. He was paid to do that. All them dudes, Dr. Ben, all them dudes was paid to teach that African stuff. So yeah. But yeah, the Rockefeller money with the vice lords. I'm sorry, I misread that. MFK should have bought his own dang buses. Yeah. I think all this consumerism culture is taking everyone away from spirituality and being comfortable with themselves. Well, I mean, money becomes your God. It really is. Something that's fake becomes your God. Not silver, gold, but something that's fake becomes your God, your good. Yep, yep. Uh, it's American culture, consumerism and spending. It's like we live in a toxic culture. It is, and that makes us, you like, go Back to the Future when they show what's his name, Buzz, being president. A lot of people thought that when they were showing Trump being president, that was the Back to the Future 3. So might be a big part of it. Let me see if I hear this damn thing. This ain't plugged in. I'll say this little fan feels good on me, because these lights definitely make it hot. Let's see if I can hear this thing. feeling it more than I'm hearing it, so might be all right. Uh, let's keep the. We live in a big society. Use it up and throw it away. A new system. Well, we hope more like minds come together. Well, I mean, I've talked about this many times. If the people, see, that's why this dude, what is this dude's channel called? And I ain't trying to hate on him, but I know he worked for the police. And he points out all the black on black crime, which we already know. But that's the thing. See, this is the thing is okay, we overthrow the government, we defeat the military. Then what? Then what? Because it's going to be gang and cliques in other countries trying to see who controls what. And so it's an easy thing to say, but like what's going to happen afterwards? Are we prepared to what comes next? I think that's the thing. It's like what's next? And it's like this brother's trying to show how what is this channel called? Let me find it. What is this channel called? Because he's always showing black on black crime, AK something. Thought it'd be up there. And the thing is, I'm sure he's a cop because that's what cops want. Cops want to keep pushing this black on black crime and that they're needed because that's his answers. His answers pretty much, and even the Brian dude that Nick hit me to, what's his name? I'm terrible with names. And then I'm under pressure. You guys are wanting to know these names, and I can't find them, and I get frustrated. But this cat is the same way. It's like, okay, what are we going to have if we don't have them? We don't really need police, but police are fighting for their lives because this is the thing that you have to understand about once people get rid of police. If it works in one neighborhood where they get rid of them and you are on top of your crime, that's going to spread. And more people ain't going to need them. They are fighting for their livelihood. And so that's why a lot of this crime is coming from them. They're starting to back gangs because that's how they want to do it is they want to do it like the RoboCop. Crime gets so bad that people welcome back the police. And like, oh, we need you back. And then it's the robot police. That ain't what you asked for. It's them because again, like I was saying, we have two big lakes in the middle of the town, not far from where Floyd got killed. Lake Calhoun, Lake of the Isles, $1 million houses all around this area. And this is a fairly big area. I'm not just talking about one block. I'm talking about two big lakes worth of big houses. They ain't complaining about crime. And this is a couple miles from where Floyd got killed. They ain't saying they ain't being patrolled. So how is it just in this one part? They want to make you think that the gangs is going crazy. It never works like that. Never works like that. It's always a hand there. They get more guns, they get more ammo. And so we have them working with the element they used to arrest. And there's that ain't even up for debate. The world's a stage, everything is agenda. Lone play. I'm in the suburbs, nothing really happens here. We don't need them. That's kind of here too. Nothing where I live. Nothing really happens out here as well. So like we do live around the lake, so we always have the sheriffs in the boats in case, something happens to somebody on this water, of course. But other than that, you rarely see them. Rarely see them. And they're first responders. They are first responders as well. And that's a different breed that work in Minneapolis. I don't think they're first responders. And like I mentioned before, it's 10 blocks around where Floyd died. They don't even go. They've quit policing in this area, yet they gave him more money. They gave him more millions. So if you think they're talking about defunding the police in Minneapolis, they gave them a huge big deal because of the crime in one area. The people that live in North Minneapolis that's being systematically attacked by the police begged for more police. So all of a sudden there's more money and they're supposed to have 800 cops, but they're crying because they only have 600. And Minneapolis proper is only about 300, well, about 300 and some thousand people. When I talk about the Twin Cities is the biggest. That's the two cities combined with 3 million people. Or no, yeah, 3 million people, which makes it the 16th. What's the population of Minneapolis? Okay, it's 400,000 in Minneapolis. St. Paul probably has about the same amount. But Brothers is only, oh, okay, 19%. The natives is only 1%. But the Brothers and the Africans, they all mix them together. But it's 63% European. And this is just Minneapolis. This isn't combining the Twin Cities. So, hey, Dread, thank you for joining. Gang gets their drugs and guns from the man. I am watching Gangland right now. Oh, definitely. They've always been. I mean, heroin and cocaine have never come in this country without the police and government getting their share. That's just the way it is. It's crazy how they describe all the gangs. Yep. No, the funniest on Gangland is the Wild Boys. And this was, I think, in South Dakota. And the funniest line of the movies is like, the police didn't take out the Wild Boys, it was the cocaine. All these natives got addicted to cocaine, so they started breaking into houses off the reservation. So it's kind of a funny kind of a gangland, if you get that. Okay, so this is going to make my. It's like, don't let me come out. Okay. Allergies. I like the way it feels, but the allergy. And how they know all this, and then all these people, speak to them and tell all this business. So, yep. I haven't seen the movie. Yeah, but Wild Boys. Watch when the Wild Boys. That shit's so funny. And then the guy goes to prison. One of the natives goes to prison. He's like, he gets out of prison. He's like, well, when I left prison, they knew about the Wild Boys. I'm like, you guys were, but this just shows, with the native gangs, the divide and conquer. You had, this wasn't a casino native gang. This was one of the natives without the casino money, and they fighting each other, claiming these different gangs. You are all poor on one reservation, and you are divided on that one reservation. So, yep. And the one that gets everybody mad is the one with they called it was where the LA dude took the gangs out east, Money Mac or whatever the hell his name was. Yeah, I bust that down. A lot of people was trying to give me flack over that, but he took the gangs from the west, took them to the east, and they first was allowed to go in prison. They were allowed to take over a prison and do just like the black Muslims did, started recruiting in prisons first. Look it up. Where did Malcolm X become a Muslim from? From prison. In the 50s, in the 1950s, Malcolm X was in prison and became a Muslim first in prison. So that's what Elijah Muhammad did. So the Bloods took that same agenda. The government put this Mac dude in a prison, and all of a sudden the prison becomes mostly Bloods. And then as these people start to go out, they start spreading the Bloods on the East Coast. So, well, this fan has me. I have to blow my nose. So give me about 2 minutes to accomplish that. All right. Well, this is a perfect time to do the divination. There we go. All right. He's throwing money in the enemy's hood, all in $1 bills. Video here, it's hilarious. Ivor, gangs are low-level Freemasons. But you know what's funny? Gangs throw the same hand signs as Freemasons and even Black Greeks. I'm seeing all these Kappas and these 60-year-old dudes, because this is something like this is the Kappa sign. It's like the blood sign. But I'm looking at all the, and they do that again. But I'm looking at all these 60-year-old dudes. They can't wait to throw that, the Kappa sign. So it's like, but yeah, the gangs definitely come from, they use some of the Freemason stuff. But yeah. Okay, it's day one. So we've got 13 platoons, 0 platoons, 8 tunes, 10 unals. And we are on day one, kin. And I didn't grab a new card. Not on my game, my pre-production. Again, I wasn't really going to come on tonight, but I don't mind. So we are back up to card one. Card one is always alligator or dragon. Now, if you guys have watched me any time, you see the tunes have went from 8 to 9. Now the tune is up to 10. And so in the Mayan, again, we are on it. If you want to manifest, the direction to manifest is the east all day Saturday. And again, it is Emix, source of life, dragon, primal water, blood, nutrients, breasts, mother energy, power, birthing, and the energy becomes from the east. And not only does it come from the east, this is a new cycle from the east. And so for some, this may be the time for you to manifest. Again, it is called spiccato or dragon or alligators. And where are we at? The image of the dragon represents the power. And okay, in this card image, we see the open superior jaw of a dragon poised to devour a Totec who is at his right. But the dragon does not signify only the possible destruction of the Totec. The nurturing part of the dragon is represented by the beast, and that is located below its eye. The Totec on the right is not afraid, but is offering the dragon some fruit as a gesture of friendship. In the upper right-hand corner, a human is entering into the dragon, representing both the risk of not knowing and how to deal with the dragon, the return of the earth to start all over again. The classic metaphor of the dragon is that it may destroy you if you try to kill it, or it may take you on a flight and share its powers with you if you learn to fly, to turn into a friend. From the Toltec point of view, in no case would killing the dragon be good medicine, because the aim of the Toltec culture was the integration of opposites, not a battle between them. The dragon is a sacred symbol from that perspective. Sequato, the dragon, is your energy manifested through your personal qualities and behavior. The energy of the dragon can either serve either your talents or your weaknesses. It usually works both ways, but the dragon is but a single entity. It is just energy. It is telling you that the both sides of yourself, what you like and what you don't like, are made of the same energy. Therefore, the two opposites that seem to constitute the core of your conflict are connected in the bottom line of the level of the energy. The realization of the dragon is a major realization about the revelation of the dragon is a major revelation about the process of life and soul development. It lets you see what you hate about yourself and what you love about yourself are not disconnected things, but somehow they are one and the same. If you make friends with your dragon, you will learn to transmute your weakness into your strengths. By embracing the dragon, you don't waste energy trying to reject it. Consider this: the only source of energy for you to build your strength is the energy you have been spending in your weaknesses and in your constant useless rejection of them. Your strength may be your weakness, and your weakness may be your strength. This is the message of the dragon. Think about a person who is caring for others and considering his own needs to be secondary. In particular moment, that seems fine, but as time goes on, not taking care of your own needs takes its toll, filling your soul with sadness, disappointment, and resentment. Both traits, the virtue of caring for others and the flaw of not taking care of your own needs, are very similar behavior that come from the same source. In this case, it's the willingness to help others. But what makes the difference between the virtue and the flaw is an intensity which the quality is expressed. Now, think about someone who is very determined and strong willed and succeeds in overcoming any obstacle, which is a great talent. Compare that to a person who is authoritarian and so obsessed with achieving certain results that he never cares about other people's opinions. That could be a problem. The interesting part is that both traits are very similar way of using energy, and again, is the level of intensity that tips the balance to the side of the strength or the weakness. The Sabakate card is inviting you to notice how your weakness may be hiding a talent that you are not taking advantage of. By changing the intensity or the manner in which you manifest energy, a weakness may be turned into a talent. The dragon is also showing you that if you go to extremes in the use of your talents, it may turn into a weakness that could lead into a failure. So I give freely. And for those of you that participated in the black dot, in the mirror energy, so those of you participated, so to see if you came across this, what I put in here is stay young enough to play. Stay young enough to play. So if you've participated with the black dot, and if you've heard any of that, stay young enough to play, you might be starting to receive the message. So I wanted to put that out there. Oh, and this is another thing that's interesting. You can see a slight attack by the NBA, and I should have brought this up earlier, is that the NBA is kind of being sabotaged with the fans. The one fan, Westbrook, got popcorn poured on his head. Somebody spit on Trae Young and spit on the people, the girl that was sitting with 50 Cent. I'm surprised 50 Cent didn't throw him on the court. But this is another sabotage, maybe by the NBA. I would think not, probably by others. But I see that as a sabotage. So I'm not sure where that's coming from, but it is definitely going on. The sororities and frats are boule. Definitely are boule. Thank you, Anise. She got caught in the crossfire. Shooting the little girl. Oh, yeah. I've said this. The little girl died Saturday. No. The little girl died Thursday. They got shot in the head here. Yep, she got shot Thursday and she died. 4 children got shot this past week. And one was at, it wasn't a Speedway because they don't sell gas there. They just it's just a convenience store. But somebody opened up and shot 4 children. And that's that old dog. I don't care who's there. I'm just going to shoot up in there because it's gun tag. That's it. It's gun tag. You shoot one down. And that's the thing. It's like this. If you do live in the hood and you have to shoot somebody down, the next day you bring more people around you and you start having nightly people paying attention. And you could go all the way up to wearing the camouflage gear and everything, have rifles around the house because it's gun tag. Because there's going to, even if you're right on shooting someone down, the word is going to be, we know where so-and-so live. You just going to let that go. We're going to have the old dog. Matter of fact, that's the old dog lit. I'm going to steal little pomos from Godspeed. That's the old dog lit. because that's what happened. If you shoot one old dog down because he was wrong, there's going to be other old dogs be like, we can't let that fly. We can't let that fly. There's no rationale to them. To them, it's gun tag. So if you do that, you make that move, you stay armed around your house for a while, and you move with safety. You move with caution, especially at night. But get some help. And they try to ride up on you, and then you got people, in camouflage around your crib on your property, and they sitting there, and you just scoping them. You can have 30-round mags in this state. You can have 100-round drums in this state. You better have a stainless steel barrel because the motherfucker gonna be smoking after 100 rounds. But that's all they know. And so you have a bunch of people that think they're about to do a drive-by in your residence, and you light them up. It's gonna make the next one think about it, because you light up however many cars they bring. If it's just one car and you light that car up, it's kind of how it works. Because if you start it, it's a war. You got to think about it like that. And all they know, all the young dudes know is gun tag. So, you think they want a bubble atmosphere again? I don't know, PJ. I don't think that's it. I think it's outside sources though, and they knew Westbrook was one that they could get to. He wanted to go up in the crowd for popcorn. There could be worse. I think somebody pouring popcorn on me ain't that big a deal. Now, maybe if I'm a little sweaty, it might stick to me. I might eat a piece. You never know. But it's that ain't that big a deal. Getting spit on, that was a bigger deal. And the person that spit on him had good seats and lost their season tickets. So no, it won't be the bubble. Well, Toronto was playing in the bubble because of Canada. It's still going to be interesting to see how hockey does this, because I don't know that Canada's releasing their restrictions yet. Because who was at home tonight? One of the games tonight didn't hardly have any fans. I was thinking of the hockey game. I saw the early hockey game. No, it was only one hockey game today. Oh, I'll say that. Vegas had to have 19,000 fans. It was like 2 cheers per row, something like that. But they had like at least 18,000 fans in Vegas. So that was the most fans I've seen at a game since. Should have fired that ball at that dude that spit on him. Yeah, I thought the same thing. He should have fired the ball at him. Because at first they were showing 50 Cent. And I'm like, what are they showing him for? And you notice the Maverick game, one coach is wearing a mask, but not Ty Lue. So why does Ty Lue have to wear the mask? But what's the guy from Virginia? Rick Carlisle. Yeah, the one that thought he was better than Ralph Sampson. Yeah, no, it was Jeff Lamp was the one that lost it though in the finals. Not Carlisle. He was a pretty good player. It was Jeff Lamp. Thought he was better than Ralph Sampson. Thought he should take the last shot, not Sampson, in the Final Four. Malice in the Palace. Yeah, that was kind of wild. And I even wonder, how much of that was orchestrated. That could have been orchestrated as well. Because Ben Wallace started it, and he didn't get any suspended or nothing. He started it. But that's why it's interesting, because at the Palace, you're kind of far away from the players. At old Joe Lounis Arena, they was right on top of you. And it was a dude, I think he was called Bill the Barber. Oh, man, you talking about wanting to be entertained, and he sat behind the opposite team. That dude would people would want to sit behind him because he would roast the other team. I mean, for years, just roast the other team. Never got kicked out of games or anything, but he talked cash shit. Hey, Prince Clown, thank you for joining me. So I think there's some kind of sabotage going on there that's not from the league. But basically we all just want to get along. And I am not a very violent man. I was telling my daughter, I didn't start fighting. I mean, I boxed a lot. I had gloves and got in them kind of fights, but I never got in a fight in school. Not growing up, never got in a fight in school. From the time I went to kindergarten until I graduated, I've never gotten in a fight in school. I got in fights outside of school, but never got in a fight in school. Then I go to college and we fight all the time in school. No, because we fought each other. What's the best sports era? Man, you look at the 20s, the 1920s, like 100 years ago, pretty good era. You got Red Grange making college football popular, that really brought in the popularity of the NFL. You had Ruth, making baseball popular, and you had Jack Dempsey knocking motherfuckers out. So that was a pretty fun era. I mean, the 60s sports, the problem with football in the 60s, the stadiums were so bad that you had, again, a lot of stadiums were multi-purpose. You had baseball and football, and you had mud bowls. I mean, the football in the 60s, a lot of it was fucked up because of mud, because playing on those mixed fields. And like, if I brought my book, The First 100 Years of the NFL, it's amazing the amount of mud that they played in. But the early 70s wasn't a bad period for sports in general. You still had the ABA, and you had the NFL just merging in the in 70, 71. Ali, that was a great period watching Ali. People loved Ali after the fight with Joe Frazier, and Ali beating Foreman. So that was a pretty good part of sports. And all Ali's fights is fixed. I mean, obvious the two Sonny Liston fights was fixed. I mean, Sonny is champ. Granted, you got getting your ass whooped, but why would you quit? Why would you quit? And then the punch that Ali hits him with in the second fight, yes, Ali hits him with a very powerful punch, but not enough for Sonny to not be knocked down twice by the same punch. Because Sonny gets on one knee and then Sonny rolls back down. So 80s wasn't bad with the Cowboys run either. Ron Artest, that guy, he punched our friends now. They did it because of the $50 bet by Artest and him are friends. That's interesting. 90s was the best era. Okay, so yeah, I mean, Tyson, Jordan coming into his own. Yeah, Jordan coming into his own. Makes me think that something is coming behind everyone opening up back up here. That's interesting. Did Ali ever sell out? Of course he did. Of course he did. Ali, of course, sold out. What you got to remember is that the Nation of Islam was a nonprofit from the beginning. So look that up if you don't believe me. The Nation of Islam was nonprofit when Malcolm was part of the Muslims. And so that means that there's a little bit of fraud going there. And so, of course, Ali sold out. Ali made a movie. Y'all got to remember that Ali was on all these commercials. He was he was on, some of y'all remember when he was on Facts of Life, or no, Arnold Show. Arnold Show. Ali was, remember, Arnold was sick and he's like, hey, Arnold, it's the champ. Remember that one? So Ali definitely sold out. Like Ali was talking about he wouldn't be with European women. See if you can find Jose Torre's book about Ali. And they talk about how, Ali would get with European women. So, yeah, Ali definitely sold out. But they tried to teach him a supreme lesson. They broke him. They broke Ali. Because Ali didn't, this is what people forget. Ali didn't get to fight because of him not going to Vietnam. He got charged. What they threw his case out and why he got to box and didn't go to jail was because of illegal wiretaps. He got illegal wiretapped. And so that's what got Ali to boxing. Wasn't that he beat the case about him being, because if you watch that Supreme Court thing about it, it wasn't about because they let some Seventh-day Adventists and some Mormons not go to Vietnam because conscientious objector. They wouldn't accept Ali being a minister. And I think that's why Ali probably adopted his first wife's child, to get that deferment. Which sport would be hardest to win a non-scripted NBA? Oh, what did I miss? So yeah, he sold out, Soap. Well, you and I are like a lot of ways. I handle my business in school, but outside of schools, I caught the beats. Yeah. I didn't hardly ever fight in school. Is the hardest to win a championship in? I don't know. They say the hardest thing to do in the world is hit a baseball. So that's a skill a lot of people can't do. A lot of people could tackle somebody or catch a pass or throw balls, but to hit a 90-mile-an-hour baseball, do you know the kind of vision you have to have? And granted, it's fixed, but if you just take it from a skill thing, to be able to see what pitch is coming out of his hand, and some players are so good at hitting the ball they can see the seams, when to most of us it would be just look like a blur came by you. So that's a hell of a skill. So it's just there's so many baseball games. They play what 160 baseball games. So I don't know if there's the easiest. I mean, being in a championship fight, whatever weight class, that ain't an easy thing. With a man hitting you all the time and you keeping him off you, that's pretty hard. That's not an easy thing. Football can be so complicated. Uh, like we see a Super Bowl loss because Hank, what was Hank's name that was with the Playboy Bunny, because he fumbles onside kick. So I don't know. I don't know. You can kind of look at them all being having their all part of it. Ali was a man back in the day in the 70s. He was everywhere. Well, it was like when he lost to Frazier, like Rosie Perez said, white man can't jump. Sometime when you win, like when Ali Frazier, even though Frazier won the first fight, he lost it because he was beat so bad he never was a good fighter again. He gave it all he had for that one fight. He won one other fight and he lost. He never won a championship after that. So even though he won, even though Ali lost, he won because Ali's name was out there and Ali kept fighting. That's one thing you've got to say about it. Ali was doing fights on TV, Wild Water Sports. And I think Ali is tied with Joe Louis for the most times of the two careers of Ali for the most defending of a title. I think they're both at something like 25, something like that. So Ali's up there in that too. Different strokes. Okay, yeah, PJ, different strokes. Yeah. Willis, those were the good days. Yeah, different strokes. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't until I was a man that I appreciated Joe Frazier, and I saw the flaws in Ali. And I've read everything about Ali. It ain't really too much that I didn't know. And I didn't met Ali. I met Ali's brother. They used to Ebony magazine sold an Ali watch, and I remember when Hank Grooms brought Ali's brother, because Hank Grooms managed Ali's brother Rockman a couple fights, or Rudy as he grew up being called. I think his name was Rudolph Clay, but Rockman is what I think he goes by now. But I got to meet him. I was like in fifth grade, fourth, fifth grade. He had Ali watch on, and I got to watch him fight too. I met him a couple of times. He brought him by the house, and then for some reason we went down to the watch him train. And I think I trained a little bit too. I used to like training. I just didn't like fighting in the ring. I'm like, I ain't. We get ready to spar, and it's like I'm not mad at him. Well, just fighting. I'm like, I'm not mad at him. What am I fighting for? But I would spar sometimes, but it was just, yeah, I couldn't take it beyond that. But I had quick hands. I could hit. I could really jab. I mean, I really could sting somebody. I like training. I really did. I like training. I always like running in the streets, and so conditioning would have never been a problem. Give Chris Paul a sabotage the game for LeBron. I saw someone saying Chris Paul is sabotaging these games for LeBron. Could be, could be. He's part of that clique. He's part of that clique. I mean, Chris Paul got the longest commercials. His commercials is older than Rogers' commercial, and definitely older than Patty Mahomes' commercial. So for a dude who ain't won nothing, he ain't won anything but an Olympic medal. He won an Olympic gold medal. So, but oh wow, okay. Well, thank you. Well, thank you. That's very kind. CBA faking an injury, kind of, kind of. I think so too. Luca the same way. Luca, they was trying to show Luca being hurt tonight, even though he had a bunch of points. Not to hate on women, but the mainstream are really pushing the feminist agenda that women can do anything without men, especially on our sisters. Yeah, that went back into feminist. Yeah, that was part of it. Was hard. See, it was hard for them because
during the civil rights things, a lot of sisters was involved. Like King relied on the sisters to getting things done across the country. Like when he traveled, what places he stayed, whose houses they was eating and stuff like that. So it was a whole army of sisters that helped King. Well, after a lot of people went with the Panthers, and let's remember the Panthers was full of women. Even though Elaine Brown lies in her book, A Taste of Power, about her being a Panther before Bunchy Carter, which is a lie, and her probably helping to get Bunchy Carter killed, she points out the amount of sisters, excuse me, I knew that was coming, the amount of sisters that was Panthers. I mean, that's, the sisters ran it just as much as dudes. And listen to Elaine Brown, when Huey got out of jail or got out of prison, she had $1 million, a charter school, all the social programs was on point. And then Huey's cocaine addiction, they blame on what took all that money out. And the Panthers only, again, he was there to sabotage it. Oh, Snowfall never showed Huey Newton either. And Huey was a vulture that robbed Freeway Rick Ross's guys. And I'm surprised. Me and Super Sly talked about that. How they was going to leave Huey's character out, knowing that Huey was one of the main vultures robbing Freeway Rick. And that's kind of why they killed him. Ice in the shoulder. Yeah, they put that big thing on his shoulder. And, a little act. And he was like, he got the sleeve on it and everything. But Luka, this is what they tried to say, that Luka was good as Larry Bird. Let me say this. Larry Bird didn't get the calls Luka gets. Go back and watch Larry Bird. He ain't getting calls on every time. Larry Bird played tough. Remember, Larry Bird got in a fight with Dr. J. Who else did he get in a fight with? Dr. J was choking the shit out of Larry Bird. But Larry Bird would fight these mugs. Again, he's from Indiana, where he was used to shooting brothers down. I mean, hooping with them. He was used to his brothers. When Larry was younger, his brothers took him around other brothers. And so he was competing against anybody. And when Larry Bird grew up, Indiana was the basketball hotbed, probably of the nation. Again, look up. Scott Skiles shot down the whole state. So I didn't like that. I didn't like need a man stuff. I like men. I don't hate them, and I need them. We all need each other. Yeah, we definitely all need each other. No doubt about that. And something my little boy would say, my 18-year-old, he was like, I like it better when you and mom are together. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you do. But for him, that gave him, comfort when we were together. Now, he knew when we weren't together, he was still going to be taken care of, but he did like that. And that was interesting that he said that. It's like, I like when you guys are together. Yeah, Doctor, and beat Bill Laimbeer. Oh, man. Yeah, he got Bill Laimbeer good, because one of them took him out the air, and then Larry Bird came back and smashed Laimbeer. Bird was cold. Really, really was. Bird really was. Bird was more of a scorer than Magic, but he played D. People forget Larry Bird 6'8", 6'9", maybe 6'8", and a half. But Larry Bird's a big guy. I'll say just slightly shorter than Magic. And Magic used to be about 6'9", and so Bird was a big guy that played. He could play. He would play. He had McHale, so he could play three. And before that, he had Cornbread Maxwell, who sucked. He sucked. And I think he got an MVP in the finals, but he was a Karl Malone get fouled dude. So. Yeah, it was Laimbeer. Laimbeer knocked him down. Yeah, but he was sweet player, putting teamwork back in the game. That's what him and Magic did. Because again, you watch a game before, like you watch a game in 76, 77, the ball's not really moving, not even with Boston. It's like whoever gets the ball is going to score. I mean, players were that good. It's like whoever got the ball did score. Guys were that good. Well, guys, this little fan has me snutting and snorting, and I've been going on 2 hours. I didn't anticipate going on tonight, so I'm going to cut it at 2 hours. But thank you, everyone that's come on tonight. I really only came on really at first. I was on just to help the brother at PNF, and I'm sorry if I say PNN, sometimes I forget, but that's not liking his research. So, but after seeing that, I was like, yeah, I got to come on too, because if they want to bring the smoke, we got people ready. And so I'm going to end this with Eshawn's poem. I'm not a New York rapper or a LA gang banger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Might be on tomorrow. Normally I do come on Saturdays, but I've been going every day. So I would say more than likely I'll be on. So look for me again. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. If I wasn't snorting and snuffing, I would definitely keep going on. But you don't want to see me, old man, sniffling, snorting. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, everybody. Till we meet again.